this is a gist of the primary things that I've noticed in the past 15 years working as a drugless therapist, where I've had the privilege of, I think, doing one-on-one sessions for more than 50,000 people so far. Yeah, I've had the privilege of having more than 50,000 one-on-one sessions and also make a India Book of Record this year. And with the Divine Mother's grace, the Asia Book of Record is also approved. So with all the insights that I've gained from, stretching myself throughout these 15 years of having such wonderful interactions with people who were either desperate to let go of their chemical intake for their diseases, or they were very certain that it had nothing to do with their physical body and wanted to find out the real reason behind their suffering. Now, I've just tried to make 6 different aspects out of it so that we all understand where are we really manifesting the disharmonious condition in our physical reality, which is probably not really the calling that the body wants you to pay attention to. As in, if you have a skin infection, for instance, it is not really about the desperation of the body to heal that infection, or your mind being desperate to get over the itching or the burning or whatever other disharmonious condition you're going through. It is the calling from the inner layers of your own mind, where there's a specific information or an energy disturbance which wants you to open up so that the portal to light also reveals, so that the journey, the inquisitiveness to spiritual understanding also opens up through this disharmonious condition that you have attracted by your own ignorance, or sometimes also mysteriously holds a karmic connection. So let's try to make it easy by putting it into 6 different segments. I always start my presentation or any speech with gratitude. People usually wind it up with gratitude, but I prefer starting off with giving a divine feeling of bringing in that light of gratitude to all of you present here, because without the deep calling from your own self, and without this need for the whole humanity that we understand why disease is taking place at the first place, I don't think we could have gathered, in this circle today here. So this is something profound, deeper than just, a couple of us joining together in this meeting. This is the need of the hour. This is where the consciousness also wants to express itself. So thank you for taking time out and being a part of this journey with me. Right. So we all know that whenever we manifest a disease, it could be a simple migraine headache to a condition where, you're probably not able to sit for long hours in office, or your mind is too restless, you're bombarded with negative thoughts, or there's a lot of domestic violence at home. It could be anything, a disharmonious relationship to a panic attack. We all land up asking some basic questions when we want to heal and recover, as in, why am I suffering? Why has this come to me at this point? I'm been very cautious about the food that I eat. Why is that I am suffering compared to other people who are in the same, work plane as me, or my siblings are doing fine. I'm in the same environment. Why is that? I am being tagged as sick or sensitive or low immunity. Why is it that I have attracted such a condition? We all go through this mysterious question, no matter what that disturbance is. Sometimes even when we are suffering with, concerns like lack of abundance, or, wanting love or whatever. So we all come with this basic set of questions. Yes. And the term that I would like to use here is swasthya in the place of health, because health, we all know, is a synonym that we use for lack of well-being. So something that is not there. So health is something that you want to arrive at, as in the opposite of not wanting to have disease. So in Sanskrit or in Sanatana Dharma or in the ancient concept of well-being, we are not really using a negative word. We are using a beautiful term called swasthya, which means harmony in body, mind, and spirit. So I would rather like to use the word swasthya to arrive at the beautiful harmony of the body, mind, and spirit, rather than telling it lack of sickness. So let's see how this all can be initiated. So we all know, we are all meditators, we all come from a spiritual understanding. So we all very well know that we have a life journey which we have planned with our own understanding and deriving it, a set of discipline, or probably the upbringing, as we call samskara in Sanskrit. So with all that we have gathered, even through the conventional educational system, we have a specific pattern that we follow in our life, where at a particular age we want education, and then marriage, and then probably career, money making, so on and so forth. But in a lot of occasions, we land up attracting something which we do not want to experience, and we wonder as to why is it that, in spite of being so much in alignment, studying what I'm supposed to study, getting the graduation that I'm supposed to get, eating the food that I'm told to eat, following all the protocol, why is this suffering coming into my heart? Why is this physical body not responding as per the predefined protocol that it is supposed to be in, isn't it? So we all know that no matter how much analytically we are smart, logically we try to fit things in, few things do not sink into the system. One of the primary things that we all undergo when we have a disease is, most of the times our medical reports turn out to be normal. Our blood tests do not show any variations, but we are still suffering. So there's a digestion issue, which is following a specific diet, or I'm giving you an example here, or you're bombarding your system with all the chemicals that's appropriate, but you still continue to suffer. And most of the times there are concerns where you can't even articulate it appropriately to a therapist or a doctor. For instance, it could be lack of love. It could be a depressive feeling, which you can't really term as depression or, any disorder psychologically, but there is a sense of restlessness and you don't know where really to fit this in. And sometimes the physician says, it's all normal, everybody goes through this, so just try to manage. And you don't know how to get over it. So we have n number of such concerns where either the chemicals are not helping you enough, or you don't know where to fit this symptom into. So in this journey, my dear ones, we need to understand that in the first place, the disease was not just in the gross body, in the physical body, and you have to go beyond certain dimensions to know where this is actually coming from so that you can gracefully reverse it. So let's understand that. So to make it easy, I've put this into 6 different categories, and that's what this topic for today is all about. So if you're able to get in deeper into the physical reality to find out what really the calling is beyond the medical report showing sophisticated details, what is the calling from the mind? Sorry. All good? You're able to hear me, right?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. And there could be also some subtle influences from our own behavior. Sometimes the words we speak, sometimes the belief system that we are hooking onto, and sometimes something as deep, as serious as an emotional disturbance. And sometimes one of the most ignored things, like the spiritual aspect or the social well-being. So let's try to integrate all of them. And with probably another 40 plus minutes, I'll try to do my best to bring in awareness about these aspects, which could be a great opening for you for the specific concern that you're already witnessing or experiencing. Yes. The physical body is not just a temple, says DKS Iyengar. It is not just a temple for our soul. That means it is a means by which we embark on the inward journey towards the core. So the body, which is usually, given a specific protocol, as I said earlier, is not really just about, finding out how much do I weigh, is my growth pattern fine as per the chart that is given to us by the physician right from our birth. No, it is not, my dear friends. If you're going through a specific disease, it could be a simple allergy, headache, it could be sleeplessness, or it could be something as serious as a chronic cancerous disease. There is something beyond what your physical naked eyes can see. And that is the information that your physical body is holding on to. And what do we mean by information that the physical body is holding on to? It could be something as simple as the body shame that was registered probably at your school where somebody was trying to bully you. somebody called you by specific names, and your mind, your subconscious mind, is holding on to those terminologies or those terms, and it wants to desperately get over the frustration, the shame, the embarrassment. But unfortunately, the lack of understanding that these things do not reside in the logical mind, because maybe you vaguely remember those experiences, or you can probably remember a few keywords, but you can't really tap into the feeling, the exact translation, the perception, the perspective with which you received it and registered it and stored it deep inside your body, into your organs. Because we believe that if there is a brain has a specific function to do as per biology, and there's nothing else. No, it is not. Your organs also store information. For instance, your liver could be holding on to a lot of anger. Your kidney could be holding on to a lot of fear. Your thighs could be suffering from lack of inner strength. Your knees could be holding on to being pressured by, a lot of wanting to surrender, unwillingness to surrender, but overpowered by somebody to subject yourself into it. So trying to accommodate yourself in a negative way. Your shoulders could be burdened by over or responsibility that you don't want to take, which is manifesting itself into a psychosomatic pain. And we don't have to really give fancy terms, and we don't have to fit those terms into a, with due respect to medical science, into a medical terminology. It's just an unease, which is calling out in form of a pain, in form of a disease, in form of an infection. So if you are a victim of body shame, there is a high possibility that your subconscious mind is still holding on to it and wants you to pay attention and release it and embrace your whole body with absolute self-love. I keep telling my therapy clients, I don't even want to call them patients because that's a negative term. If you tell them patient, you already register that there is some problem with you and I'm in a higher position than you. So I call them therapy clients or beneficiaries. So, I keep telling them that, we have so much of reverence to our parents, especially in South India, we give utmost respect to our mother, to our father. We treat them like gods and goddesses. Even a flash of negative thought about them, we feel so guilty. Imagine if you have such highest regard for your parents who gave birth to you, whose values are deep inside your heart, but you can't really carry them 24/7, right? Now I'm giving a presentation. I can't have my father on my right side and my mother on my left side guiding me. But their love is there as my innate spirit. But then there is something from the time you expressed yourself in the gross body till the last breath. There is a tool with trillions of cells vibrating with consciousness and awareness and light, which unfortunately is given negative comments, constantly observing all the negative statements that's being thrown by people due to their own frustration about life. For instance, if somebody says, "What happened to you? You were all good. I saw you in the last wedding. Suddenly what happened? You bloated up like a drum. Oh my God, I think you should see a doctor." And that lady, maybe she had just delivered a baby, and it's so normal for her to put on another 10, 20 kgs. And the person who has frustration about their own life, where she or he is not getting enough love from their relatives and family members, wants to throw out that frustration to somebody, and there you go. This marriage ceremony or a social gathering is a perfect place where you can vomit out your frustration. And this lady here is all ready to take out, to receive rather, this negative statement and puts it into her breast maybe, or her belly, or her thighs, and goes home and starts circulating the same energy inside out. And after a while, she forgets probably that event. Maybe she cries for a little while or curses back that person. But my dear friends, the information stays. She has received it inside herself because she was never taught about the concept of self-love. She didn't know what her boundaries was. She didn't know how to filter it through. And this part of energy that she received without the conscious awareness of I am the perfect embodiment of the divine light. Where she didn't know that that has to be a continuous awareness process, went into a system, and every time she looked into the mirror, she said, "Oh my God, I look like a buffalo. I'm bloating up. Look at me. I look so sick. Where is that beautiful girl who was in college wearing tight jeans? I feel sick. I don't want to look into the mirror," and so on and so forth. Feeling guilty for no reason. And this is staying there, waiting for the right trigger, where probably it will express itself next time when the husband says, "I used to love you, but I don't think I have the same attraction because you no longer look like that beautiful hot girl that I got married to." And he's throwing away his frustration of not being accepted by his manager in spite of doing his best at work. So she catches up that fire, and then she thinks, now how do I bring this frustration out? Unfortunately, we do not know that meditation is also part of the healing, and healing is part of the meditation. We don't know how do we sit with ourselves and release this frustration, just like we release all the unwanted toxins out early in the morning in our restrooms. And we don't know how to make up our inner world, just like we make ourselves presentable with all the beautiful, um, you know, gadgets and attire that we throw up, coming sometimes disguised with all the, what do you say, makeovers that we do. We don't know that there is an inner beautification that has to happen. Nobody's taught us about it. So this beautiful lady feels she's no more beautiful, and then the energy of frustration that comes up with different people catches up fire with her own low self-esteem and lack of love, and expresses itself probably like a tumor this time, a lump in the breast, or maybe a period cycle imbalance. Every time we are so desperate to look at the list of chemicals that's being, with due respect to medical science, I have nothing against it. We go on searching the names on Google, looking for side effects. But why is that? We are not having a basic common sense to sit with that disease or illness or disharmonious situation to ask, what did I do wrong? Where did I fall short of awareness that I manifested a condition like this? Was it my ego, my ignorance, my lack of self-love? What is it? What are you trying to teach me? How many of us honestly have time for this? And even if we have time for this, we feel, no. Maybe a little infection or depression can come because of all this. But this is physical. I've heard thousands of people say this to me, at least in the first part of my profession, Thanks to social media now and all the research and whatever other popular things that I've done, where I used to demonstrate live sessions on news channels, popular news channels in Karnataka, where I used to take my therapy clients with pre and post medical reports. And I've done thousands of such shows where they are convinced enough that, yes, there is a reality like this and we accept it. But when I go back to my initial years of my journey, they used to tell me, "Ma'am, I understand, these things, lack of self-love or, being bullied or receiving negative comments from people can create disturbance in mind. Maybe that leads into depression or negative thoughts. But this is psoriasis, man, psoriasis. This is asthma. How are you saying they're connected?" Because for a normal man, it is almost impossible to connect that emotion can influence body, and the disharmonious body condition can in turn affect the mental well-being and emotional patterns of a person. They feel they're two different things and they have nothing to do with each other. All right. Not just that, my dear friends, I'm going to help you quickly run through the whole thing. If your mother has been disturbed during her pregnancy, and unfortunately, being Indians, it should not be very difficult for us to understand the concept that, yes, when a woman is pregnant and she is anxious and throwing negative thoughts or going through a lack of love, that will have an impact on the child. Every cell is going to receive that information. It should not be really difficult, because we have grown up listening to stories where Bhakta Prahalada had that influence of, his mother listening to spiritual stories and how he could challenge a demonic father. But That is a story for us. It's mythological, It's okay. It belongs to history. But for me, I don't think it's come from my mother because I don't even remember it, doctor. How do you think it's going to influence me? The world has gone so far. We are talking about quantum physics. I've done my second PhD from Quantum University. I'm here talking about quantum theory, consciousness, and all that. And people are still wondering how my mother's emotions can influence me. I don't even remember that. Hello. It's your brain. It's your logical short-term memory, left part of the brain, which may not remember. But boss, you are way beyond that. You and your memory, your subconscious, is all pervading. It has no time frame. It can even remember content and information belonging to previous lifetimes. You can even go to different dimensions. You're talking about that today, and you're still wondering if the emotions of the mother when you were, in a room is influencing you or not. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. I've seen thousands of people where they wonder, where did I get this from? I don't know. Suddenly this is surfacing in me, and we trace them back, giving no clue or hint, not pushing them into this aspect of understanding, and they open up from their subconscious mind gracefully, telling, yes, I see how I've been receiving this, where she underwent this depression or her misunderstanding with my grandmother, as in a typical daughter-in-law, mother-in-law conflicts. And I've had these emotions in me, not understanding how to process this and throwing it up, maybe like an asthma or an epileptic attack, or maybe some blocks and clots in my brain. It might sound crazy, but that's exactly what I've seen in my journey. And that's the magical shift people have seen, where they term this as magic and nothing else. Yeah, so birth trauma, it could be, non-acceptance of the gender. Oh my God. Yes, so-called sophisticated, educated families. I've had, again, with you, I'm not trying to target anybody. I've had so-called real educated people. Worst of all, I've had couples where one of them is a doctor telling me that my husband still ill-treats me because I couldn't give birth to a baby boy. And I tell her, excuse me, you said your husband is a doctor? Yes. Then he should know that it's him influencing the gender, whether it's male or female, isn't it? In biology, we know it's the man influencing whether it's the girl or the boy. And she says, I don't know whether he knows that part or not, but he's still pestering me that, we need to go for another child, and, I couldn't give birth to a baby boy. So, it's like we still today have a lot of people coming to me saying, I underwent 4 abortions, I'm trying for a baby boy. It sounds so weird and sick sometimes. In this closed room, I'm literally sitting in my clinic today. So, I've heard such crazy stories where sometimes your body burns in anger. You're like, where the hell are you? The world has moved so forward and you're still wanting the baby boy. And desperately, even if you give birth to it, with whatever permutation and combinations you're trying, there is a disharmonious energy because she's all the time pressurizing on boy, and there's so much of stress being bombarded into the tiny little baby, which has not even seen the world, that the non-acceptance energy is so strong that even if it's literally a boy, when he grows up and there are multiple other triggers, it just suddenly starts feeling that disharmony, non-acceptance, lack of love. There's so much happening in the system because of all that we receive, which you cannot decipher with sophisticated state-of-the-art technology and, scan reports and whatever. Never. I don't think the world will ever see a day where technology or AI can, decipher the innate feeling or emotion that you have received from people like this. So it's your responsibility that you sit with yourself and ask why this happened. There are a lot of people who release this in form of actions. We call that as OCD. You go on washing your hands. You go on touching things. You go on repeating, cross-checking things like, whether the door is locked, the gas is turned off. You want to tell thanks exactly 10 times to God. Otherwise, you feel you'll attract a bad luck or, something bad will happen to your loved ones. You feel it's normal. No, it is not. It is a calling. You couldn't release something which your mind could have easily, gracefully released otherwise. And therefore, the body wants to let go of it. don't please don't mind, for a therapist or a doctor, these things are as normal as a common cold. An extramarital affair, an addiction to masturbation, a drug addiction, you name it. These are things because we were never taught in school to release an emotional outburst, to let go of an mental turbulence, to understand how disparity between parents has to be processed in my heart. So it's all about learning the art of communicating with your own self, to give gratitude to what we have, and to be contented with what is. All right. So physical reality is not just about you eating good food, my dear friends. It's definitely also about all this that I just spoke about. Right. So how do we do this? How do we get over? What do we do about it? You can have a continuous awareness practice of self-love. Have a boundary energetically, mentally around you, and see what is against that beauty that you're born with, the light that you're shining with. Every single sentence the Divine Mother has told, has ever expressed, is helping us realize this self-love, the love for our own self, for our existence, for the Divine Creator, and for the whole setup. And if you're coming in alignment with that, you know what not is in alignment with love, whether it is a statement that was thrown at you by a frustrated father or a teacher who said you're useless just because you couldn't pass your maths exam. If you still hold on to that memory, you know it's not in alignment with the self-love, and you know how to let go and embrace love and life with more gratitude and harmony and health. So this other thing that you can do, as simple as something very simple like this, where just before you go to the bed, you do a simple release of all the frustration. Bloat your cheeks up, fill air, slowly breathe out, and think you're releasing all the negative thought patterns that you received from everybody from morning, or whatever you can think of from the past. That MBA that you couldn't crack, MBA exam that you couldn't crack, that NEET exam that you couldn't get good marks in, that love that you couldn't receive from your father, that embarrassment that you got when you got your first periods, that stain that made you feel sick about being a girl. It could be anything. Release and let go. Because these are judgments, these are negative statements, these are patterns of ill health that you have received. And why did you receive? Because you lacked that awareness. So try to do this at least for a couple of times before you go to bed, thinking of everything and anything that you feel created this disturbance in the first place. And remember, everything is connected with everything. That little dissatisfaction about the job that you had 10 years back and this restless feeling that you have right now, everything could be connected. You never know. So when you close your eyes and sit with yourself just before you go to bed, you'll have flashes of something that probably doesn't sound good, feel good. Release it, let go, and be okay with it. All right. So we'll go a little fast now since we're running short of time. So I cannot speak enough about the emotional disturbance that manifests in form of disease. My first PhD was on this, where I was so convinced that more than 95% of the diseases, this might sound like a very big number, but this is my experience. I've literally seen thousands of people go through this. More than 95% of diseases are because you're emotionally not in alignment. And trust me, I'm not the first person to find this out. Hundreds of universities, thousands of research papers out there. You'll be shocked to know that something like a clot in the heart, some autoimmune condition, even something as simple as a common cold. Will you believe if I say that the last time you got a cold, it could be because of an emotional outburst that it wanted to have and you didn't have the awareness or the time to sit with it. So your body wanted to release it and there you go. So an allergy, a food infection, we carry that with so much pride, It's so funny sometimes. I'm sorry, but I'm not telling you that we throw up a drama, but it's so stupid that we don't try to decipher that with maturity. And we go on telling, oh my God, I'm a Cinderella. You know what? I can't take this smell. You know what? If I touch this, I get this allergy. With due respect to that. Oh, if I just look at that dish, if I just look at it, rashes come. And we wonder how looking at it, rashes will come. At least if you consume, we can make some sense through biology, chemistry, something. Yeah, if I look at it, only rashes come. Oh, is it? And you never wanted to sit with it and understand what it was all about. So these allergies, these infections, this sensitivity, with due respect to what the medical science is trying to prove, my dear friends, it's something else. It's really something else. Go deeper inside, and you'll be shocked to know that it could be just a little thing that you wanted to express, that bottled up emotion, that frustration, that anger, when your father was hitting your mother, and your mother was helpless, going, to the corner and being petrified, and the anger that you wanted to throw, but that tiny little boy or a girl, 5 years old girl, who just didn't know what to do, which is still staying inside you, is throwing up, probably like, one of the most sophisticated diseases, where you're going from doctor to doctor, begging from person to person, helping understand why why you manifested this disease in the first place. We know about inflammation, right? Inflammation starting from ulcers to tumors to cancer, oh my God, arthritis, whatnot. Have you ever questioned your system as to why inflammation? Of all the things, why did your brain want to bloat up something? All right. So, yes, all the heart-related concerns, so many asthma, arthritis, diabetes. See, these are all research papers. The virus, oh my God. Yeah. So, I'm sure I'll sound a little weird if I say, yes, virus, yes, I understand. But then you will not attract any crazy virus and go through those viral mysterious fevers and infections unless there is something deep inside you which wanted to express itself like a fever or a viral infection, which has no remedy whatsoever. There will not be a remedy, trust me, no matter how advanced, or even if tomorrow we sit on Mars and we connect to Earth, there will not be something that can help you decipher this or decode this, because this has something to do at a deeper level, where you go beyond the emotion, beyond the symptom, beyond the disease, beyond the chemical, and understand that this indeed is a portal for you to connect with the higher consciousness, to grow spiritually, to become one with the light. So I always tell, connect with your past. Don't say, I don't want to remember. Don't even tell their name to me, madam. If you even tell my mother-in-law's name, my body starts boiling. I cannot erase your past. That is your past. That's your beautiful journey. That's the book that you wanted to write in this lifetime. See how you can make harmony with it. How can you recall your past with that pride? How can you practice deeper forgiveness? Where you know that, yes, different people throw different emotions and energy, but I dare to connect with their divinity. And I can be in that space of harmony, irrespective of what others are throwing at me. All right. So there can be a continuous awareness practice in this regard also, isn't it? Where you choose to not just forgive them, you choose to forgive your own self, because you've been holding on to that vengeance, that anger, that poison, isn't it? And we feel spirituality has nothing to do with health. Oh my God, such a foolish way of looking at it. Particularly because the Britishers were very much successful in throwing so-called education at us, where we are so proudly mentioning those titles and credentials, and we feel we are educated, and people come to me saying, oh my God, I'm a gold medalist all my life. You know what? I'm myself a counselor, I'm myself a doctor, I'm myself a that, myself this. People stand up when I walk into the office. But why is that I have got this problem, madam? That's because there are two different parts of your mind. That's because it has nothing to do with what you have been holding on to as a belief system. Yes, you could be the Prime Minister of India. That doesn't mean that you are sick inside. That doesn't mean you have an ego to crack. That doesn't mean you have a transformation journey to take place. to get into. So spirituality, earlier we were so matured and scientific to understand that healing happens in temples. Today it is superstitious. Hello, excuse me, just because you don't understand the dimension, how can you term this as superstitious? Yes, clinics were nothing but temples in those days because we knew that ill health can also happen from the energy level, and in fact it is that and nothing else. If I go a little deeper, I'll say it is only that. It is just trying to express itself in the gross level. That's all. I'm sure you've had a great time listening to Dr. Nagendraji's class, where we were awestruck to understand how this is just about understanding the spiritual dimension and nothing else. We don't even have to spend time going the other way around. If you just connect there, it's sorted. And one of the major challenges that I've had in my life is people trying to believe that, is it really this simple? Doctor, do you think just in about few days? Really? Really? Because they don't want to believe that the shift can happen in a snap of a finger. And it is you who wants to hold on to it for months together and years together. Oh my God, I've suffered for 20 years and you're trying to tell me that in 15 days, 1 week? Yes. I've been crazy to make people believe that, yes, you just give me 1 week, it should happen. Because one of the biggest challenges for me was to convince people that this is not a slow-based therapy. Because anything apart from chemicals, people think, agate, but slow. Aitundi, but slow. Sorry, pardon my bad Telugu. It'll happen, but I think it's slow. No, it will not. It can be right now at this very moment if you decide to love yourself completely and bring in that harmony, that light, that awareness. Right now, this very moment, that slip disc, that pain in your bone, that tumor, that fibroid, I'm not throwing an exaggerated fact. This is what I've lived through. This is the crazy manifestation that I've seen people go through. Trust me, there are cases, there's no special power that I hold. Absolutely nothing. I'm telling you honestly, being very, very open and transparent. There are cases where I tell my therapy clients, I don't think this is going to happen, but give it a try. And they're like, no, ma'am, we trust you. Just tell us what we have to do. Give us a protocol. And they come back to me with results where I take pride of. I'm like, oh, look what happened with this therapy. But the beauty is they believed, they surrendered, they had that faith. So we have had cases where, for instance, the gynecologist would say, if you deliver a baby, if you ever get pregnant, let me know. I will stop practicing my gynecology thing, And there I am, I say, I'm not interested in your medical reports. I don't want to see whether your ovary is active, not active, underactive, with due respect to all that. But I already see a soul wanting to come to you. Are you ready? And they say, yes. So come to the crazy journey. I'll tell you what to do. And I don't give them sophisticated homework. I don't tell them, believe in some mysterious dishdom or jadoo. No. I tell them, ask your uterus now what is happening. Talk to it. Find out what is the resistance. That's about it. Why are you blocking your feminism? What is it that you wanted to be masculine? Yes, we are both. But then what is it that you wanted to be predominantly a male, and your female thing is gone so low? Find out, embrace it. We as women, we have a problem even projecting our beauty. We don't want to even show our curves with respect. We want to just hide it and, be in that cave. Hello, excuse me. This is not a matter of embarrassment. This is the beauty that you want to carry with grace. And when you have an issue with projecting your curves, then imagine your feminism is gone for a toss. Forget about producing right eggs at the right time. Of course, pregnancy is not just about the woman with the eggs or whatever, but I'm just giving you an example. So it's about the energy. It's really about the self-inquiry, which Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi has always spoken about. Who is suffering? I am suffering. Who is that I? Where is the suffering? It's all about understanding the anatomy at a deeper level. So for that, you need to have a continuous awareness where I keep telling in most of my sessions and workshops, please try to redefine God. Because after you get to difficult challenges or you go through trauma, the very God whom you've been praying for and doing all the vrata and all the consistent discipline that you follow, after 2 or 3 trauma, you say, why is God torturing me? What has God got to do with my suffering? So the very God whom you were so disciplined about following specific rituals is now my enemy. So you have to go beyond that and understand the whole universe wants you to flourish and explore life and enjoy your materialistic life, be abundant, make a lot of money, enjoy with your family. Somewhere we feel, no, this is papam. No, I don't think God wants this. So please have awareness that God wants you to heal and be in that harmony and have that light shining bright in your heart, which tells you that this very compassion and love, this very understanding, this very spiritual anatomy is the real remedy, is the real medicine for your suffering to end. And mental, oh my God, I think we need a separate session for this. WHO is throwing fancy figures, in a city like Bangalore. I think we are one of the top cities where we have student suicidal rates shooting up like crazy. And most of them are either in their 10th standard or in their +2, just before they choose either chemical or, either medical or engineering, where they're so scared to fail their marks and the parents are pestering them to get into so-called popular college and they don't know how to face their parents. So this is just happening and people are talking about mental health only when they see the suicide rates and then everybody forgets about it. But my dear friends, even at the age of 50, I get a lot of therapy clients who come to me and tell, even today, doctor, I get dreams of me going to the examination hall. I forget the hall ticket. I've studied for the wrong exam. And then suddenly my father is asking for my marks in maths. And then I wake up petrified. I'm like, yeah, that's still sitting in you. And still sitting in you just as dream? No. That's a calling, knocking at the door from your subconscious mind, which is telling, hello, this fear, this panic, this petrified feeling is now coming as a digestive issue, maybe diabetes. But people just can't connect the dots. But that was 40 years back, no? How that can come now? Yes, that 40 years back mind is still a part of your mind. Sometimes people tell me, from the day I came to this house, everything is a mess. Problem with this house only. So I tell them, yes, congratulations, go for a new house, buy a new house, you deserve a new house. But make sure you drop this mind in the old house and go to the new house. And they ask me, drop the mind in the old house. How is it possible? And I tell them, yes, exactly, that's the point. You cannot drop that mind in the old house and go to the new house. You're going to carry the mind to the new house, or maybe even to Mars if you want to go there and make a house. So it's not really about changing patterns. It's about understanding that you are rewired with those neural pathways, where your anger, your depression, your pressure is all a part of your physical reality. And I think a medical doctor will be in a better position to help you understand how a normal flight and fight response shifts the whole pattern in your nervous system to go into a flight and fight mode and stay there, operating from a parasympathetic nervous system plane, always telling, I'm in panic. Something is on fire. Oh my God, what do I do? And this cannot give you the stage to heal because you cannot shift from there unless you sit with yourself. You bring in a deeper awareness through meditation or through some satsanga like this, or through a community like this, or through insights like this, which can break your myth, put you under shock. Oh my God, this tiny little thing, this anger on my husband, this satisfaction about my job put me on an alarming situation. And I could never go back into the sympathetic nervous system pattern where I could give the stage to my body to heal. Such a shame, no? Such a shame. Shame on what? The whole setup. The whole setup. We've had So many people come to me saying, I went to my doctor, I don't know why my BP suddenly is shooting up like crazy. And they told stress kami ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, as in put down your stress, work on your stress. That is a sentence that is given least respect. Okay, doctor, but you tell me what tablets I should take. So there is a important statement that was made by the doctor. Look at your stress. We are least bothered. So rather than going to the medical store, looking at the best pharmaceutical company giving you the best chemical, you should be going to a counselor, a therapist, marriage counselor, or maybe sit with yourself, hold hands with each other, go for a candlelight dinner, and try to understand yourself deeper, and then look for the tablet that is appropriate. But come on, I don't think that can be the remedy, is what your logical mind says. But we are in a loop. We're in a loop where, we all have to accept how much side effects, how much other complications that it leads into. And we enjoy that, we want to be in the circle of suffering. Please don't mind me saying this. A lot of people enjoy being in that circle of frustration. That's why, when the very family member wants to give them help and say, why don't you work on yourself? They say, get lost. Don't talk to me. I know what to do. You don't counsel me. You first look at your own dirty mind. Because we don't want to break that pattern. Yes, the other person also is suffering and therefore wants to throw some light on your suffering, and you throw that anger and say, oh, mind your own business. Don't talk to me. I know what to do. So are you trying to tell me that I'm mental? Are you trying to tell me I've lost my senses? Oh, now you want me to go to a psychiatrist, huh? Maybe it's true. We are all mad in one way or the other. But then we don't want the solution. Trust me, please, I'm sorry to be telling this, but sometimes we don't want the solution. We love being in that suffering. We want to vomit it on children, thrash them up properly. We want to discipline them and, bring them in the same path of suffering. We want to enjoy seeing them being petrified. In the name of discipline, we want to make them mentally sick and enjoy that. There's so much of junk that we don't want to look into. So unfortunate. Right. So all these facts we all know, but in a way don't want to know. But the solution, yes, you want to get into the subconscious mind, which holds all the secrets for you, which for thousands of years our ancestors have been telling that there are different layers of mind which holds deeper secrets. Yeah. So getting into satsang like this, where you understand that it's not really about, the other aspects that we have been taught in schools or colleges or whatever sophisticated degrees or whatever we have done. It could be also about the behavior. And when it comes to behavior, it has been given least importance. The words we use, the statements that we make behind somebody's back, the lifestyle, the communication, all of them matter. So it is the journey, my dear friends, where you really want to get into the deeper you want to really get into the deeper dimension of, wait a minute, it could be that statement that I'm still holding on to that my mother made when she wanted to compare me with my brother. It could be about the lack of love that I experienced just after 2 years of my marriage. Or it could be about that embarrassing situation in my childhood where, I didn't know to speak good English. Or it could be about a tiny little thing about me not getting that promotion just because I'm not beautiful enough. And that vengeance that I am holding on to, that lack of love that I couldn't explore. So these dimensions, these beautiful 6 pillars are the real thing that we have to get into. And trust me, there cannot be a better person than your own self who can express this, who can make yourself naked and be sincere towards understanding this at a deeper level. And if you dare to do that, Trust me, the chronic so-called disease, which are given such fancy names and terminologies, can just disappear in a moment. It could be anything. I've seen asthma, psoriasis, diabetes, sophisticated stages of cancer, epileptic attacks. It could be anything. It could be pigmentation. It could be sleepless nights. You name it. You name it. Most of the time, I tell them, don't even give me those terms because I'll get, biased about the approach. I already sense recovery, so let's work on this. So what do you have to do? What is the remedy? It's just about the continuous awareness program. Have a cap and just be aware of what is it that I'm really throwing. If you're washing hands 10 times, what is it that I'm really trying to clean up? If you're throwing anger every now and then, what is that bottle up anger that is coming from a very young age? If you're having congestions in your chest, having breathing issues, what is that deep sorrow that I'm holding on to? If you're getting into repetitive accidents, patterns of trauma, what is it that my mind is trying to alarm me about? Sit with it. Do journaling. Sit in meditation. And when you're reading those beautiful statements of the Divine Mother or Sri Aurobindo, close your eyes and see if that's really getting into your body as well. So that if there's any resistance, that can be the medicine for you to get over it. That's all we need most of the times. All right. So I hope today you'll spend some time, since it's Sunday, very appropriate, to just find out if there's a deeper calling, if this is not just a disease, but a message that can open up deeper insights in you, and where we can all live a real spiritual life through our behavior, through our emotions, through our mind, through our thinking, and through our feelings. Thank you so much for joining me today. Thank you, ma'am. Special thanks to Chala, ma'am. She's a paramount of patience, I can say, because to connect with a person like me is one of the biggest healings, I think. Because I don't want to show this, but I have two phones and another one on the other side of the table, constantly ringing, bombarded with messages. Because when I go for television shows, one of the real challenging things is, instead of giving my clinic number, they land up giving my personal number. They display it. Because when they call me for a show, they would have called me to my personal number, and they telecast that. And so far, I've changed 10 phones, no exaggeration, the past 15 years. And I don't want to let go of my old phone because we get addicted to it now. And then I'm like, it's ringing always, and I go on changing phone over phone. And sometimes to even see my own family members message me something in emergency, I'm like, oh, did you message me? I didn't see. I'm like, oh, you never see your phone, you never see your messages. Like, oh my
Yes,
God.
Purvi, I mean, that is the whole point. You have so much of, in a sense, power to be able to help people, that people are just running after you. And
Thank you.
poor little Purvi doesn't have a minute's time.
Honestly,
Totally
it sounds
overwhelmed.
crazy, but it's just that, sometimes to look in the phone is challenging, predominantly because my main service is one-on-one sessions, and everybody
Yes,
takes their time to,
I know.
connect and all that.
Yeah.
So, but
A
otherwise,
lovely, lovely session. I mean, something so much of learning about how close the other energies are to our physical body, our emotions, especially, and which, most of us do not, as you said, take it seriously, or, we feel that it has got nothing to do with the body, but it has everything to do with the body. Our
absolutely.
thoughts and emotions are so closely connected to the body. And back to what the mother said, yes, so basically, in a sense, what we learn also, it's like a signal. The mother also says that it's a signal, a disharmony, which to show the physical ailment is a signal to make us conscious and aware of the disharmony which is within us. So, in a sense, it is helpful. So, it is that this is part of what we experience to really make us to understand that what is causing it is something that we need to become aware of. And it is in our hands. That's what Dr. Purvi is trying to convey so beautifully. And it's
I'm sorry to
very
interrupt you. Just
exciting.
one
Yes,
small little thing. So
yes.
the disadvantage of not sitting with the disease that we have, for instance, let's say if I have a migraine headache and I'm just popping up painkillers, and I'm very happy that this chemical is doing good. if you don't sit with the real reason why it's come, it's going to unfold itself in another form, maybe as a skin infection or a knee joint pain or a lower back pain, because you didn't really get the clue. So if you are
Very
killing
important.
symptom
Yes.
without understanding what the divine mother just said, the message, the inner calling, you're only increasing your symptom list. You're only increasing your, just like increasing our credentials, we increase telling I have this and I have that and I have this also, and last night I started experiencing this, because you never sat with it. So it's an alarm for you that, oh my god, I just cut my hand, I had a bruise, I fell somewhere, I got caught up in a lift, I got an allergy. Let me ask my body, oh my dear little body, what is it that you're trying to say? Just like how we go approach a tiny little kid saying, why are you crying now? What happened? That's exactly the connection that we have to have with ourselves. And disease is going to run away if you do that, because your love is the biggest medicine that you can actually give to it. Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Wow, amazingly put. Yes, yes. It's so very, I mean, it's so much resonates with what the mother said, what you say. It's just fantastic. Yes, it reminds you of white ants, no, Purvi, that if you try to suppress it in one way and do not clear it, it just comes pops up somewhere else.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
suppression is never the solution. Just trying to ignore it is never the solution. I have one question, Dr.
Please,
Purvi.
please, please, ma'am.
I just wanted to ask you, how would you want to, kind of guide us all to try to, I mean, when you say that we are angry and many of us do not kind of sit with that anger, but just trying to express anger is not okay, right? I mean, how do you kind of address the dissolution of the anger by understanding, or because sometimes there are circumstances and situations which challenge you so much and frustrate you, as you said, because there's negative energies which are constantly pounding on you, then what do you do for that? I mean, just accept, succumb, or retaliate and react? What do you suggest we do?
Yeah, ma'am, fantastic question. Thank you for this question. I would say it's absolutely normal to experience all of this, but then, I mean, it's so human that you have such emotions. Suddenly, you have an outburst. You're yelling at somebody, screaming. It's all absolutely fine. We don't have to have a guilt ride about this. But then there is one thing that we have to really understand. As you rightly said, let's say in the morning I yelled at my husband, and later in the evening when I'm meditating, I'm going back to my own self and witnessing the whole anger, the scene that I experienced, and then suddenly it is giving me a clue that it was not really about the wet towel that he put on the bed. It could be about the anger that I couldn't release when my father, for instance, I'm just giving an example, my father was yelling at my mother, and then go back and forgive my father and see how I can look at it, what are the key insights, so on and so forth, so that the next time the anger is not inflated further with the pre-existing anger that is there in my subconscious mind. So next time you will still react to your husband putting the wet towel on the bed, but the disturbance, the disgusting feeling that's coming out, and all the aggression and the expression, and all that self-hurt and so much drama that we do is drastically reduced. That is one thing. Second thing is, when you heal the inner thing, then the amount of carry forward that happens also drastically comes down. For instance, you're yelling at your husband and saying, what the hell, how many times do I say don't do this? And then the very next minute the awareness overpowers you and says, you hold deeper power to be assertive than doing this emotional drama. And you immediately come back to your senses and say, I think from next time I will have something here so that you can hook on the towel too, so that we don't have an argument over putting the wet towel. And trust me, when you're assertive like this, when you're speaking from deeper clarity, your husband actually gets it, because so far you were in a deeper pain and a lower frequency, and you're throwing that statement from a weaker energy. I always tell people that when you're angry and you're throwing things out, you're actually at a lower level, you're weaker. So when you're working through it, when you heal your wounds, you don't have to really go into such sharp disturbance, and you're very clear. You are still putting that discipline, you're still making things work, you're still asking people to do things right, but this time the disgusting feeling is lost, that disturbed feeling is lost, that what do you say, uh, that emotional drama is lost, and you are gracefully telling with assertive statement, I think we should not be doing this. We would rather do this. And the opposite person is really getting it. So it is okay to be screaming and yelling and crying and doing all that. But as time passes by, you will see that feeling is not driving your whole day, or you're not carrying it for a couple of days. And the next time you hold deeper power with more, as I said, more dignified statement and more dignified way of handling it. Yeah.
So the secret is to actually attain deeper clarity through that
Yes.
process. Yes. So once again, a heartfelt gratitude to you, Dr. Purvi. Wonderful, wonderful session. So
Thank
anybody else has any questions to raise, or we can
Yes, I'm
stop
open
here?
for questions. Sorry to interrupt you, ma'am. And meanwhile,
Yes,
one
yes.
statement to add to what ma'am said. You're absolutely correct, ma'am. It is just, going back into that awareness. And I always follow something personally in my life. I don't let any situation of disturbance escape my attention. So if I'm like, let's say I'm yelling at somebody, yes, there's a disgusting feeling when you go back home. You're like, why did I yell at my staff? I could have handled it better. But I also know that this is an opportunity, so I will not let it escape from my attention. And I sit with it at least for a minute and say, oh my God, look at me yelling at my staff. Okay, what is it trying to show? What is that about my own self that I can reveal here or heal here? So sometimes it could be that I am working with insecurity. I'm so fearful that, let's say you're a typical businessman and you go to your shop and you're yelling at your people, oh, you people are so careless. Look at you. Because of you, the business is going down, blah, 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 blah. But when you go back home, you sit with yourself and you look at your own self yelling at your employees, you are taking absolute responsibility of the whole energy that you've thrown, and you understand that yes, maybe it was about those people being indisciplined or careless, but it was predominantly about the insecurity that you hold about money, the fear about abundance, the EMI that you wanted to pay and you're scared whether you'll make it or not, or it is about the impression about how your father handled finance when you were young, and how did you see money energy in your house, and you start releasing it, and tomorrow when you go, you see magically that the employees are a lot more disciplined, or if they're still careless, you hold deeper power to say, hello, from tomorrow or from today we're not doing this. So it's all about coming back to not let any situation escape your deeper awareness.
Wow, that's so amazing. Very
And
beautiful
tomorrow
said
you see
again.
you're influencing all of them.
Yes, yes.
Because we'll end up saying, I know, I work on myself, I am super focused, I am meditative, I am spiritual. But you know what? This employee is creating problem. You know what? This neighbor only is a problem. I don't know how to handle them. But I tell them, you take better control and you will see you are actually creating a hologram in that brain, because your brain is connected
Yes.
with their brain. We are all the same energy pattern. You change the grid. That grid, whether they know or not, is already changed. So today I just have to tell, from today, we will probably put them in different boxes and we'll see what happens. And they've already shifted, or they will either leave the job because they cannot accept your discipline. So they say, thank you very much, or they escape, or, they run away. There is something that happens, but you create your own reality through that.
Amazing. Purvi, we can just go on. 1.5 hours is not sufficient. And I'm
I'm
sure
be more than
everyone
happy to
really
take another
came.
session maybe and let them all process this.
Yes, yes, that's the right thing to process, to first thing, then process, assimilate, and probably try to put into practice. So
Absolutely.
wonderful again. So anybody else? Or can I just close the session? Yeah, somebody has a question.
Yeah. Rajesh Kumar, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
So the key six key aspects for being in harmony with mind and body. So it's an insightful session, ma'am, and
Thank
we are very grateful to organize we are very grateful to the organizers for conducting this session, and I'm very thankful to Purvi ma'am. And here most of us we neglect listening to our body. And also you rightly said that we should develop the art of communicating with disease. So we don't sit and ask why,
Exactly.
yeah, it struck me very, very much. And thanks for this session. Thank you very much.
Thank
So
you so much.
I have learned a lot of new things in this session.
Thank you.
So,
I'm so glad it's worth doing.
this is a physical thing, but it's all about emotional, mental, and spiritual also.
Yes.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you, sir. I'm so glad. Thank you.
I would just like to kind of reach out to everyone who has registered and who make part of this program today, to just share with you that Aurodarshan Trust is very eager to be able to facilitate the counseling with Dr. Purvi. But we request you that it has to come through the Aurodarshan Trust portal. So kindly let us know as who would like to, kind of have sessions, counseling sessions by Dr. Purvi.